American Top 40.
From Hollywood, it's another hit-packed parade of the nation's hottest sounds in American Top 40. I'm Shadow Stevens, and every week we count down the biggest hits on radio and sold in music stores direct from Billboard magazine. We have arrived number one on the Billboard chart, and it's by a woman who may have been saved from a lifetime of trouble by music. This 23-year-old singer was born in Ireland, in the same hometown as U2, Dublin. She was one of 8 children. Her father was a barrister in the courts, a lawyer, and her mother was a dressmaker. But her parents separated when she was only 9, and her reaction was to rebel. So she took to the streets, where she became a shoplifter and somewhat of a con artist. While pretending to be collecting money for charity, she'd pocket as much as £100 a day. She says she did it for her mother, trying to make her happy, but instead, it landed her in trouble with the law. When she was 14, she was arrested for stealing shoes and sent to a school for troubled kids. And inside the same building was a hospice for the aged and dying. She told writer Pam Lambert if you were bad, they'd send you upstairs to sleep on the floor in the old folks' home. She described it as pitch black, where sick people lived in unsanitary conditions. It was awful. But it was also the turning point for her. To cope with it all, she picked up the guitar and learned to strum Bob Dylan songs. When she was 16, she was released and started singing in the streets, bus depots, and pubs of Dublin. Well, she eventually hooked up with a band, and that led to a solo record deal. Her first album 2 years ago, The Lion and the Cobra, received great reviews. And now her second album, I Do Not Want What I Haven't Got, hits number 1 this week on the album chart. And it's given her the hit song that now spends a second week on top of the Billboard pop chart. The number 1 song in the USA again this week is Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor.
Casey Kasem counting down the 40 biggest hits in the USA. Well, now we're up to the number 1 song in the USA on Casey's Top 40, and it's by an Irish woman who's famous for her very, very short hair. And why is it so short? Well, just 3 years ago, when she was beginning her career, she went through a very rebellious period. She'd appear on stage dressed in jeans that were ripped to shreds, wearing halter tops and big, menacing, steel-toed Doc Marten boots. She was very concerned about having exactly just the right rebellious look, a look that said to the establishment, I don't need you or any of your rules. I'm me, and I'll do it my way. Saying that with her clothes was easy. But saying it with her hair, well, that was a lot harder. You see, she must have gone through at least 20 different hairdos. She tried spiked hair that stuck way up on her head, but that seemed like a tired punk cliche. Then she tried dyeing her hair platinum blonde, but she says she just wound up looking like Madonna. Then she tried shaving her head on one side like Alana Curry of the Thompson Twins, but nothing gave her the look she really wanted. Until it occurred to her that what she had to do was go all the way. She had to make the ultimate statement. She had to shave her head bald. And that's exactly what she did. Did it work? Well, it certainly became the thing this new Irish singer was best known for. But then she realized that it wasn't her hair or her clothes that had people buying her albums. It was her music. And so these days, she's busy growing back that hair. She doesn't know what her next do will look like, but she says baldness, for her, is definitely a thing of the past. As for the present, she's enjoying the spectacular success of her very first Top 40. It's hit number 1 all over Europe, and this week, it once again is at the top on Casey's Top 40. The number 1 song in the USA for the 3rd week in a row is Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor.
Nothing compares to you.
There it is, the number 1 song in the USA for the 3rd consecutive week. Nothing Compares to You by Irish woman Sinead O'Connor.
Casey's Top 40.
American Top 40.
You're listening to a special edition of American Top 40, the top 100 songs of 1990. I'm Shadow Stevens, and after 8 hours of the year's top songs, we have arrived. The hit among hits, the song supreme, number 1 for the year. It's another hit by a newcomer. It was written by Prince in 1985 and was originally recorded by a group called The Family, but this year, A 23-year-old singer from Dublin, Ireland, recorded her version, which seemed to come out of nowhere and topped the charts in 14 different countries. And it tops our chart for the entire year 1990. We asked her how she feels about it, and here's what she told us.
It means a lot to me because it's audience, because it's not an industry thing, it's based on what the people like, you know what I mean? It's not based on what some fat record company executive likes, you know what I mean? So in that way it means a lot to me because it's real human beings you're talking about, it's not, you know, people who are in it for the money. Well, I didn't make this record or any record that I've ever made in order to become famous or successful or make money, and I will never do that, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's a total accident that what happened with Nothing Compares to You happened. It's got nothing to do with me, you know.
The number one song of 1990 is by Sinead O'Connor, Nothing Compares to You.
11 years ago this week, back in 1990, one of the top hits in the USA was by a singer whose music career began when she was a student at a school for wayward girls. It was back in 1980. 14-year-old Sinead O'Connor had been arrested for shoplifting and sent to a church school for girls with behavioral problems. It was while she was there that her lovely voice was noticed by a teacher who asked Sinead to sing at her wedding. Sinead sang the Barbra Streisand song Evergreen, and as luck would have it, one of the guests was a musician with an Irish band who invited Sinead to sing with them. That was the beginning of the career that led to one of the top hits in the USA 11 years ago this week. Here's Sinead O'Connor with Nothing Compares to You.
It's been 7 hours and 50 days. Nothing compares to you.
From 11 years ago this week, that was one of the top hits in the USA. Sinead O'Connor with Nothing Compares to You. I'm Casey Kasem.